He's probably, the one member of the cabinet who really knows how to deliver in terms of departmental brief. So, I mean, if you want someone on side with Burnham's kind of Manchesterism view of the economy, of public ownership, of what we do around tax, etc., I think there is only one standout candidate.
Well, Andy Burnham has told The Times that he wants to show it's possible to, quote, do things in a different way as he proposes a 10-year plan for the UK. He says he feels fairly relaxed about the move to number 10 and has known what he wants to do for quite a while. So the former mayor of Manchester is in a confident mood as he prepares to meet the King this morning and take the top job. Neal Lawson is director of the Labour focus group Compass and knows Andy Burnham well. He joins us live from Westminster. Good morning, Neil.
Hello, Kate.
So Andy Burnham says he's relaxed. Should he be?
Well, he's a very relaxed kind of person. I've never seen him get het up. I've never seen him get cross with people. So that's his demeanour, and I think it's a good one because this is a sort of momentous day. It's a day full of opportunity and possibility, but it's also a really daunting day because all Burnham and Labour have done really is reach base camp. They're at the footings of a mountain of a 10 to 15 year project to change our democracy, to change the state, to change our economy and society. And that's the right challenge, but it is gargantuan. And therefore, he's got to find, the reserves of energy, of alliances, of ideas, to tackle that 10 to 15 year project. It's good he's relaxed, but it's also got to be urgent, determined, energetic, etc.
I sense a bit of caution maybe in your tone there. I mean, you know Andy Burnham well. Is there a worry that he won't be able to live up to the expectations of everybody within the party?
Of course he won't. I mean, and no leader can. I mean, we have ridiculous expectations of our leaders and think it's all about them, when really it ought to be all about us. His slogan for his by-election in Makerfield was Andy for us. It's now got to become a politics by us. He's got to lead in a way that brings all of the cabinet in, all of the PLP in, all of the party, other parties as well, and he's spoken, very correctly about working cross-party, but bringing in every community and every citizen. If he is going to end business as usual, if he is going to roll back 40 years of neoliberalism, then his job as Prime Minister has to involve all of us in that process.
And when you say all of us, that will also mean the left of the party, and that's been, over the last couple of years, pretty difficult for Keir Starmer. It's prevented him from doing what he wanted on welfare reform, and that may be the biggest test here, because if you are going to change the way government works, you do need to grapple with some of the big problems it faces. Do you think the left of the party is on board? Is there a mood within Labour, within the Parliamentary Labour Party, that the PLP, to get behind this project now?
Yes, there is. I mean, I think the thing about Andy is he's not factional. And maybe we'll come back to that because that is a slight issue. It's not that we want to end factions in the Labour Party. It's not that you don't want a left or a right or a centre left or a soft left or whatever. What you want is those groups to churn out ideas, discuss them, debate them, and make all of those ideas stronger as a consequence. So we need pluralism within the party, and I think Andy recognises that. He is a consensual kind of person. He'll lead strongly, but he isn't going to look at people and think, are you on the left or you on the right? And I'm on the left of the party, but I can tell you there is a really strong appetite to see this work, because it has to work.
Yeah.
Because this is the last chance saloon, and if this project fails, Labour fails, then there are questions about democracy, civil liberties, profound issues for our country if we don't get this right.
And there are already questions about accountability and about how much Andy Burnham has really been challenged on his plans before arriving in Downing Street. Do you think he needs to go for an early election to gain credibility in that role?
Well, look, it's not his fault that there wasn't a challenger. He put himself through, 9 years of being the mayor of Greater Manchester. He tried for the by-election in Gorton and Denton. He put himself through Makerfield, really challenging. I mean, I don't think anyone could say that Andy Burnham isn't one of the bravest politicians we've ever seen.
But it's not about bravery, is it, Neil? It's about the fact that at the moment we really don't know what he's going to do. This is a man who's not been in politics in Westminster Minister for quite some time, and although he has some track record in Manchester, it's a very different kettle of fish running the country. Do you think an election is the only way to get that credibility?
No, I don't. That isn't the way our constitution works, and that's, and I'm not saying that, that's from a Tory perspective. They change their leaders very often. They're right to do it. It's constitutionally right to do it. Labour have done it once now in government, and Burnham is going to be held to account all the time by you guys in the media, by the pollsters, by everyone that he kind of comes across. He's going to be questioned quite rightly about whether he's doing the right kind of job or not. And he will call an election, as our constitution says, when he thinks it's the most appropriate time for the country.
We're going to talk later about cabinet appointments. We expect some of those today. We're hearing Shabana Mahmood could be the Chancellor, for example. There is talk about whether Ed Miliband might be Foreign Secretary. From what you've heard so far, are you comfortable? And do you know of anybody being talked up for a role that maybe we've not heard about yet?
No. I mean, they have kept it very tight, and they're right to keep it very tight. He's not yet Prime Minister. He should not have been announcing things about jobs that only a Prime Minister can announce. So he's done it in the right way. Look, if you want a 10 to 15 year project of rolling back 40 years of neoliberalism, there is only one person in the current cabinet, even in the whole of the PLP, who has a clue about how to do that, and that is Ed Miliband. And to not appoint Ed Miliband to be your Chancellor, to do the specific job you're telling the country you want to do, will be a really kind of, it will be a bad element of the first day in the job.
But would Shabana Mahmood be somebody that you could get behind as Chancellor, if not Ed Miliband?
Everyone will have to get behind whoever is appointed. But Miliband knows how to run the Treasury rather than the Treasury knowing how to run the Chancellor.
Well, to be fair, he hasn't been in the Treasury for a very, very long time. He has been in the Treasury. He knows how to work it, and the job he's done at Desnes shows that he's probably the one member of the cabinet who really knows how to deliver in terms of departmental brief. So, I mean, if you want someone on side with Burnham's kind of Manchesterism view of the economy, of public ownership, of what we do around tax, etc., I think there is only one standout candidate. So that would be a mistake, in your view, not to put him in that job. One of the things that comes out in the Times interview today is the potential to raise the tax-free allowance. It's obviously been frozen, that threshold. It's often called a stealth tax because people don't realise they're being taxed more because it's frozen. Is that something that you think Andy Burnham should do? Is there an argument for doing that?
I think there's a really strong argument. When governments say that they're abiding by their manifesto pledges, but really by absolute transparent sleight of hand, they are raising people's taxes, and obviously this impacts people at the bottom of the income level. Then that's the sort of thing that really annoys people about politicians, because they're not stupid, they know. And either you should be transparent and say, look, we are going to keep on, leaving the thresholds, and you are going to pay more tax, or we're going to change them. And I think he would be right to change them. He knows from Makerfield, I was up there knocking on doors as well, that people are really struggling, and one of the jobs he's got to do in the short term is bring some relief. So whether that's through taxation, lower bus fares, lower energy, and possibly water charges, that something people want to see. Not that they think you're going to transform their lives overnight, that's why it has to be a 10-year project, but they do want a sign that you're on their side, and I think he'll give them that.
Neil, just finally, I can see, some of our listeners can see on YouTube, but not everyone, that you are wearing the Andy Burnham mandated uniform.
Oh, yes.
You've got your black T-shirt on and your black jacket over the top.
Could I just say, Kate, that I've been wearing this outfit for longer than Andy Burnham.
Oh, he nicked it off you, did he?
And I've been trying to roll back the frontiers of neoliberalism longer than Andy Burnham. So I welcome him to the satirical and ideological stance that I've been taking for an awful long time.
I'm sure we'll be pleased to hear that. Neal Lawson, thanks very much.
Thank you.
That's Director of the Labour Focus Group Compass.